What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Sorry that I was a minute or two late tonight. As you can see, for those of you that have been watching the lives for some time, you'll notice that I'm back in the other room. Is anybody here tonight in the live chat? Oh, all right. So I guess my face was frozen there for a second. How's everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you're all doing well. I'm sorry that I'm 2 minutes late, but as you can tell, I am back in the room where this all started, where the lives began. Let me know how the audio sounds, as always, if you're here tonight watching. If there's anybody in the live chat, I'd love to know how the audio is doing. Also, that glitch there, I'm learning all these new things, right? So the last two lives, not the last one, but the two before that, I had the audio issue where you couldn't hear me, right? And then just now, it looked like the camera just stopped responding for some reason. But I think I am figuring it all out, so I'm getting better and better every time. Hey, Thomas. Hey, Vormer. How are you guys? Hey, Crooked Bangs. How'd you guys start the new year? Hope everyone had a good kickoff to this year that seems like it's going to be pretty epic and complicated. But like I said in the last live, we got to stay strong. We got to stay positive. So, how many of you have been watching these lives since the beginning? You might realize that I'm back in this main room again. And I was wondering which room you guys like more. This room, this setup here, or the setup we've been using for the last few lives. Thomas said the audio is is a bit out of sync. If it is, I'm sorry guys, but I'm probably not gonna be able to fix it right now, just because I'm using OBS, right? And when I started doing these lives, it was like I just took a risk and said, hey, I'll learn how to use it, and then I'll start doing lives and talking to you guys every week. And Thomas said better than the closet. It is a little more comfortable, to be honest. I don't have to sit on a stool here in this room. But the closet, I like the light in the back in the other room. I like the lighting better in the other room, even though maybe this lighting is better, and I'm not sure. But again, I've got these janky setups. I'm always setting stuff up like the best I can to do these things. Thomas said I'm using OBS as well. Well, Thomas, hit me up follow me on Twitter. If you're not, you might be, but send me a DM, send me some videos, help me learn how to use it a little better. I think I got the hang of it, but there's still certain things, like just a second ago, the live started and my face was frozen. Okay, he said the lighting is much better. Well, I'm glad. So maybe I'll use this room again. William, what's up, man? So guys, let me know how your New Year's was. What did you guys do? How are you guys feeling about 2021? Before we start the conversation tonight, talking about the phenomenon, as we always do, my favorite topic personally, I want to know how you guys are doing. Let me have a sip of water. Bormer said, "Looks like you have a small sun on your left shoulder." That's the whole thing I'm going for with that light back there. Thomas said, "More cinematic." Perfect. That's exactly what I'm always looking for. To try to make the visuals as cinematic as I possibly can. So tonight, before we kick it off, let's do what we always do. Please share these lives on Twitter. You know, whenever you're on here and you're talking to me, share them on Twitter or on any social media platforms that you use, so we can get more people in the live chat and we can have a awesome discussion. Ethereal Aura, what's up, man? How are you? I'm happy to see Crooked Bangs in here. I haven't seen you in a few lives. Awesome to see you here. So, UFO skeptics and UFO believers. I consider myself a believer, right? I think that I am positive at this point in my life that there are unidentified craft flying through the skies, invading airspaces that cannot be classified, that are most likely not from here, from Earth. And I'm a true believer in UFOs. But I also am a bit skeptic at times, right? And not in an unhealthy way, because that's really what I want to talk about today. Is like, you can be in the middle and not be unhealthy on each spectrum, okay? Like, I believe, but I'm also not an unhealthy believer or an unhealthy skeptic. And sometimes when you're navigating through the community, right, you come across these kinds of individuals, right, where it's like their way or the highway, either the skeptic way or the believer way. And when I say believer way, I'm saying that their concept of the phenomenon and what they think about the phenomenon is the only way they're going to see it, right? They're not open to different theories or ways of looking at the phenomenon. Bug said, I don't believe I know. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that I feel the same way. I know that there are UFOs out there, right? And we're seeing it, we've been seeing it, like ever since probably we were little, right? If you think back to when we were kids, I remember seeing Bob Lazar when I was a kid on the news. And then, like, from there, just, I can't really piece together, remember all my childhood memories about seeing the UFO topic brought up in the media. But of course, you know, I grew up during the time of the X-Files and all that kind of stuff. So the UFO topic and this idea of extraterrestrial visitors, the Greys, has always been prominent and has always existed in our reality, right? Some have believed that it's fantasy, while others understand and have looked into the topic and have realized that there are so many cases that stretch out for such a long time period that it's kind of undeniable in my book. Let me check out the live chat. Let me see how what you guys are talking about. Let me see what's going on in there. Hey, Andy, what's up, man? He says, new here, looking forward to it. I'm glad, man. Welcome, Andy. Glad to see you here. Ethereal Aura said, zealots can be truly annoying. I agree. Thomas Fessler says, more proof of UFOs today than ever. Yeah, I mean, that's really why I am so open at this point in my life to be, you know, to have this channel, to have these discussions, and to not be afraid to put myself out there. And everyone in my family and in my circles knows that I am the Undead Gaucho, right? And if they don't, and then when they find out, I have no problem of them, you know, thinking certain ways about me, or maybe, you know, thinking I'm a crackpot, or being interested in the topic, or maybe I'll inspire them to look into the topic or ask me questions about it. But I think that today there's more proof than there ever has been. Dylan, what's up, man? He says, I'm a believer, but often on the fence of what they are, despite my experiences. Most of UFOs I've seen is star-like shape with impossible movements in the sky, or a tie-in event like speaking to one. Well, that's interesting, Dylan. He says, then weird things happen that night. I'd like to hear about that speaking to one. That's interesting. If you'd like to share that. Blue Shift Radio, what's up, man? He says, I'm a UFO investigator. I think all of us are here. DJ Borg, what's up? Hello from Brazil. Bom dia. I think that's how you say it, right? I don't know Portuguese, but Alien Girl, what's up? She says, I agree, the proof is insane. Borimer says, a lot of BS and disinfo out there on the subject. Good to be skeptical, always question what you don't know. And I really think that we need to like keep our guard up and keep our A game going into the future, because the UFO topic has gained credibility at this point, in my opinion, right? It is no longer, you know, you don't see too many news reporters talking about it, news anchors, whatever, and laughing at this point. Like when you see Tucker Carlson talk about it on Fox, he's very serious about it. He's not making any jokes. They still have a little cheesy intro at the beginning, but his face, you can see that he actually takes the topic seriously. And I think there are many news platforms that are doing that at this point in time. And we need to make sure to stay on our toes, because the moment we dive into a case that is a hoax, right, and we throw all our chips there, we put it all on the line for that case, and then we find out it's a hoax, I mean, it makes us lose credibility. And it's so important at this point to maintain our credibility going into the future, because this topic is going to be taken more and more and more seriously. And it's no longer going to be people looking at you like you're the crackpot. We're going to be looking at them like they're the crackpot, because they don't understand reality. They don't understand how important and how amazing the world is, right? So I'm saying we need to get ready. So today I brought up this topic, the UFO skeptic and the UFO believer, because I feel like there are unhealthy sides to each of those, right? So you can be a believer, you can know, and you can feel it, and you can understand, and do what I do, basically, is put myself out there, let everyone know that I believe in this topic. But I'm not stuck on any one theory, right, at this point, because we don't know what it is yet. We still don't know what's piloting the craft. We have an idea. We know that there must be occupants, according to all the abduction cases and all the history that there is tied to this subject. It seems like there is somebody piloting these craft. Now, where they are from, that's what we don't know. What their motives are, that's what we don't know yet. There are people that are out there telling us what they've been told, right? And I respect that. I understand that if you ever do come into contact with, these beings, you may want to share your message and let people know what's really going on. But I feel like you need to make it in a way that's really palpable for people to understand, right? You need to be careful in how you present this topic still. And people are okay with accepting UFOs, accepting the idea that UFOs exist these days. But I still think that the word extraterrestrial, talking about the Greys or the mantis beings or reptilians or any sort of interdimensional or otherworldly beings, people are still kind of not ready for that. They're ready to accept that there's craft flying through the sky. They're not ready to understand what's going on behind that. Sorry, guys. As always, my throat gets dry. Let me check out the live chat. Dylan O says, long story short, so he's going to tell us his experience here. I woke up to a ringing noise in an electric appliance, I'm assuming. I asked for a light, and my bro's PC turned on from sleep. I asked if they could type in the password line, and it escaped out. Well, that's interesting. Dylan says, then the PC turned off. I saw a light on the horizon twinkling, so I sang to it, Cletus is calling, occupants of the interplanetary craft. Chatted about this town and its occupants, and went back to sleep and woke up later. Dylan O says, to the application turned off, I was like, what? The dehumidifier was full now. I thought to myself, is this some kind of test? And immediately heard from the kitchen to the left, I am testing you. And I guess like a laugh, right? Well, thank you for sharing that, Dylan. I've said this many times. I think everyone's experiences and everyone's encounters or close encounters are very important. And what I've learned is that it seems like there are many cases where people have the experience basically plays out in a way that suits their understanding, right? It doesn't break the limits of what they can truly understand. Then there are other cases where that's the complete opposite, where people are just stunned and see something that they can never explain, or something that just shakes them to the core. But I'm saying it seems like there are many cases where people are seeing sort of what the phenomenon wants them to see. And there's this whole trickster element. People call it a trickster element. I don't know if it's because the phenomenon doesn't know how to communicate with us correctly, so people think it's like a trickster, but really it's just trying to communicate how it can. But it's all stuff we got to think about going into the future. And we should have been thinking about this for a long time, but I'm sure many of us do. But Crooked Bank says, was just listening to Michio Kaku on Coast to Coast, and he said it's a 50-50 chance humanity will even make it to 2100. I feel like it's now or never for disclosure. What's really interesting to me, guys, is, like I said, I'm an advocate for disclosure. You guys know that, right? I'm out there fighting for the truth, just like all of you. But at this point, like we were talking about earlier, I believe in this phenomenon, right? I know there are UFOs out there. It's not like maybe there are UFOs. There are UFOs. What's behind that? That's my big question. What's piloting it? What's the goal? What's the reason? That's what I'm still asking myself. So disclosure, for me, is a different kind of disclosure than it would be for everyone else, right? I feel like I may have already experienced disclosure. And that's what led me on this journey and put me here in front of you guys. So I think all of us are going to have our own path and our own trail, our own version of disclosure. But Crooked Bangs, I think that you do have a point, but I don't think that we should be hoping for to get answers from higher powers. It may happen, right? It seems like with this 180-day countdown, after the COVID bill and all that kind of stuff, it seems like we may be getting more information in the future, or the topic may become more accessible, right, to the general public. So you and I, people that really dig into this stuff, the soil may get softer and we may be able to get deeper. But I'm a little worried that disclosure is never going to be what we imagine it to be. Disclosure is going to be something, because at this point, everything that's happened has completely caught me off guard. From the gimbal and the Go Fast and the Flair video coming out, from Fravor, from Lou Elizondo being such a prominent, part of the community, from Tom DeLonge, from everything that's been going on, seeing Bob Lazar on Joe Rogan, seeing Jack Valet on Joe Rogan, all these kinds of little things that are happening that I never thought would happen, right? It's just, I wake up every time I see this news come out. It's not what I'm expecting. It's something that it's like completely out of left field that I would never seen coming. Not saying it's bad, but I'm saying it's good, but it's out of left field. It's not the way I would have imagined disclosure to happen. So let me check out the live chat again. Andy says, there seems to be a multitude of different forms of the phenomenon, displaying both in the form of ETs and in high strangeness, end of the supernatural, with as many different agendas. It'll be a drop in the ocean, that's for sure. That's what I think Andy's talking about disclosure there, the drop in the ocean. I think it is going to be a process, and I think it is basically what we're witnessing right now. Like, we are currently in disclosure. We are currently seeing it happen. So, will it ramp up, and will something crazy happen? Like something, will smoking gun evidence come out, and then the governments of the world have to agree that yes, this is real, and they've known it was real forever? I don't know. But I think we are currently living in a time where disclosure is happening. The other day on Fox, when Tucker Carlson was talking about the COVID bill and the 180 days, the title of that, what was it? The segment, right, was 180 days countdown to disclosures, to UFO disclosures. The word disclosures is being used in the mass media. Now, the mass media is a machine that controls the public. Anything that is projected on that box is what goes into the people's heads and what manipulates people. And it's basically what forms society. So the word disclosure is being used. So I think we're currently experiencing it. Let's see, Thomas. He says, let's hope 2021 has an open in the public landing and human to alien communication outside of the government. I mean, if yesterday I was watching some C5 stuff, because I have this idea for a video, because I've experimented with C5 twice, and the first time nothing happened. The second time some strange stuff happened, but nothing like many of these people I've experienced, like some of my friends of the channel, where an orb comes out or something that is definitely an unidentified flying object. So I thought it'd be interesting if I did like a 5-day or a 4-day or just a few days experimenting with meditating and trying to do CE5, because it's never really worked for me. And I do think consciousness plays a big role in that. And I'm bringing this up because of the human to alien communication, right? But it's also something that I've wondered and pondered. And it has to do also with Andy, with what Andy was saying recently about that the phenomenon is, there's many different forms of the phenomenon, and there's also the high strangeness aspect. I think that understanding that UFOs are real and whatever these occupants are doing or however the craft work will also let us understand more about high strangeness. And I'm also thinking that maybe C5, the orbs and all this kind of being able to communicate with extra dimensional beings with your mind and your consciousness, aside from it sounding like something that would be practiced in the occult world, it is high strangeness, right? It's because I haven't heard any cases of people like doing C5 and seeing a ship land in front of them. I've heard of cases of 3 orbs flying in a triangle formation, right? But nothing physical. If you guys know of any cases like that, send them to me, right? Help me do research, because again, guys, I am not the keeper of wisdom and knowledge on this topic. I am just like you guys, researching and looking for answers. But let me know if you think that video would be interesting. I'm going to try and do CE5 for a few days, like 2 or 3 days. I'll film every day, write a little bit, and we'll see what happens. I live on the 11th floor of a building here in Buenos Aires, and I have a beautiful view of the city and the sky. So you never know. I might be in the right place at the right time. Let me check out the live chat again. Man, it's awesome to see you guys here. Again, thank you guys always for being here and for showing support and for being in the live chat, sharing your feelings, what you guys are thinking, your theories, your thoughts. I think it's the most important part of all this is communicating with you guys and having a strong community. Yeah. So Bormer says he's responding to Thomas. He's saying that's what I'm hoping for. So he's hoping as well that we have a human to alien communication and an open in public landing. Dylan O says they've allegedly seen light orbs and beings nearby the CE5, nearby to the CE5, but they move so fast it's often not even seen. Yeah, Dylan. I mean, that's what I mean. I've looked into CE5, right? I think I was gonna say, and I just forgot about it, that yesterday I was watching this Japanese channel, and it's about CE5. It's a guy that does CE5. He speaks English, but it's like Japanese, right? It's I think he's like an English guy, but I stumbled across the channel and I just started looking at it. I mean, it's fascinating to me, the idea that you could do that. Now that I haven't been able to experience that is what's been kind of, making me want to try it a little more. But if there's one thing I think that is a good example of seeing different parts of the phenomenon, of experiencing different aspects of this, right? It's not the same as getting abducted by a bunch of grays. You know what I mean? I actually threw that question out there. Is there a case of somebody doing CE5 and getting abducted and having a bad experience, or a good experience, but doing CE5 and getting abducted? Thomas says, have you practiced samadhi meditation before? I have not practiced meditation, and it's something that really also has been bugging me going into this new year, because I always tell myself, you should try it, right? Because I'm kind of anxious. I'm an anxious guy. I smoke cigarettes, which is not good. I had stopped for a bunch of years. I stopped for like 5 years. And then last year it was like something happened and I just fell back onto the wagon. And I'm anxious, especially being stuck. I've been stuck inside here in my house with the whole COVID thing going on. I've been really like following my own guidelines and trying to keep myself inside as much as possible and keep my my loved ones safe, basically. So it might be good to do some meditation. I would definitely try it. Thomas says samadhi technique is part of CE5 and should be practiced first. Okay, well, there we go. Maybe I'll practice that first. Dylan says check out the case of Dorothy Isaac too. There's a good documentary. She started seeing them in 1974. Recently passed. I believe she had like 3,000 feet of film footage. I saw, Dylan, actually, very interesting that you said that. Look at that. Coincidences. I actually saw something about Dorothy Isaac like yesterday. And I was checking out her photography and seeing, what she was, her experience. I had heard about her in the past and I'd looked into her in the past. But I did check her out like yesterday again. So that's super interesting that you brought that up. She was meditating and they started appearing. Well, that's what I'm thinking though, guys. Let me know what you think. Is it possible that C5 and what people are experiencing in C5 is something completely separate from the classic saucer and the alien gray contact abduction? Because I don't understand why, right, these kinds of encounters would happen, during C5, and then other people would have these sort of, abduction encounters. I think that's something interesting to think about. Yeah, Dylan says it's a compelling documentary. So he's talking about the Dorothy Isaac documentary, and yeah, it is. I actually was watching the one where it talks about her daughter seeing the same thing. And something really nice was like one day she felt like giving up and she felt like, everyone was not believing what was happening to her. So she wanted to just get rid of the film. And she went to her bedroom and then her granddaughter walked in. And I think she said it was her granddaughter. It might have been her daughter, but her granddaughter or daughter walked in and put her arm over her shoulder and said like, I believe you. And I thought that was really nice. I hope that happens to me when I have kids. I hope they at least believe me. They trust me enough to think that what I'm saying actually makes sense. Thomas Fessler says, abductions are for a purpose. Well, I want to know what the purpose is. You know what I mean? That's definitely something I've been trying to look into. Daniel Sand said, "Hey man, you is a real alien." You know, I think we all may be actually real aliens. It's something that I've said in the past. I remember talking to my dad about it. I said, we were talking about alien life and proof of alien life, right? And the existence of alien life in space. And I said, the biggest proof that we have is ourselves. You know, if we could survive, if we could exist, I don't see why anyone would believe that something else couldn't. And also, look how strange we look compared to every other creature on this planet. Look how weird we are. Like, we are the strangest thing on this planet. Definitely. Daniel Sen said, Boriska. I have a very early video, probably one of my first videos, like really diving into a paranormal topic, as I was talking about Boriska, the Russian boy who said he had a past life as an extraterrestrial. Alien Girl says, the proof is also in the data. It definitely is in the data. So I don't want to steer away from what we're talking about today, but unhealthy skepticism, I feel like, is dangerous because there are intelligent skeptics out there, right, that are really just trying to prove a point to you. They're just trying to prove what they think and try to find any sort of explanation they can to have their way, basically, with the end of, I don't know how to say this, right? They're basically using every form of intelligence, every form of explanation they can to prove what they're trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. And a UFO believer, unhealthy UFO believer, may do the same, right? We also need to be careful for UFO prophets and people that tell us that they know the truth. Those are the most dangerous people, you know, that say that they personally know because they have friends that are aliens or anything. You know what I mean? Those are the most, I feel like, dangerous when it comes to, not saying they're bad, not saying they're bad people or anything, right? I'm just saying they're dangerous in the sense of they could have like so many people believing what they're saying, and it may not even be real, or it may be the phenomenon just presenting itself to them in that way, right? Let me check out. Andy O says, isn't C5 kind of similar to what the Germans were apparently doing with seances in the 1930s? That's a good question. And look, guys, C5 is definitely similar to the occult, and it's similar to any sort of summoning of anything, right? If you think about it, it's very similar, because what you're doing is using your consciousness to make contact with a, you know, otherworldly being. And Aleister Crowley did it with the Amalantra workings, and it is done all the time, right? And I think it happens and people don't even realize it's happening also. Like, what if there are people practicing C5 because they're on a different level of consciousness than we are? Maybe they're just tuned in, right? And they're just living life at that level, right? They're just living life in that headspace. So they're just constantly sending out that signal and making contact. That's something I've thought about as well. Alien Girl said, fact-based is best. And she said, UFO prophets are wild. UFO prophets are wild. And now that we're getting closer and closer and more information is coming out, we're going to see a lot of these UFO prophets popping up. Trust me. You know, I try to stay on the fence always. I'm trying to see what's going to happen always. I walk into a room, I check everything out before I make a decision, right? And the other day I saw that Stephen Greer got a bit angry with the new, you know, the news that's coming out with this, basically with the current state of disclosure. Stephen Greer was trying to warn everybody. He says he's been trying to warn everybody for years that there's going to be this false flag invasion, or they're going to make the phenomenon look like the bad guy. And I honestly don't know what I believe at this point on the intentions of what these beings, on the intentions that these craft and these beings have regarding us. So, when people talk about the threat narrative, I do not think that the phenomenon is a threat. I do think it could pose a threat. I do think that abductions are a threat. Not all of them. Some people have good, I guess, life-changing experiences and they're enlightened. Other people are scarred for life. And this idea that, well, the ones that have bad experiences is because they don't understand, what's going on, or they don't understand that aliens or whatever these beings are just studying them or whatever, I've heard people say, like, there's no bad experiences. There's no bad abduction experiences. I think just being abducted is the bad experience. If you get abducted and you don't want to get abducted, or you get abducted and you get tested on or whatever, and you don't see it as something enlightening, it's a bad experience, in my opinion. Let me check out the live chat. Man, love to see you guys here all the time, man. Honestly. And you guys are all doing exactly what we're doing exactly what we should be doing. Sharing thoughts, sharing ideas. And it's perfect. It's the way that we can get closer and create new ideas, new thoughts, new theories by working together. You guys should look into Aleister Crowley. I don't know what it is about the occult. The only reason why I've ever looked into the occult is because of the UFO phenomenon. I don't know what it is, right? It was like looking into the ancient astronaut hypothesis and then going deeper down that rabbit hole, then understanding that maybe people were contacting extraterrestrials by using prayer. And then I was thinking prayer ties into the occult because it's all kind of stemming from the same thing. And then I was thinking, how does that apply? And then I started looking into Crowley, and I looked into all these different aspects of the occult without becoming an occultist. But it's definitely something you guys should look at. There's something there. There's some kind of connection there. Because I feel like high strangeness, like we said earlier, there's some tie throughout the rabbit hole that connects everything. Thomas is telling Borimer to check out the Awaken the World film on YouTube. They have samadhi-guided meditation videos. It's a great way to understand the state of mind needed for C5. Well, Thomas, I'm going to do that as well. Definitely. Let me know. What do you guys think about that idea for a video? I'll try C5 for like 3 or 4 days. I'll, film day 1, day 2, kind of like a journal. And then I'll go out to the balcony and we'll see what happens every time. If nothing happens, nothing happens, right? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's because I'm in the city. But maybe I can go on like a little spiritual journey and see if I can conjure up something, make contact. Mike, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. So I think I'm going to use this location again. I think I am, if you guys like it. William Edwards says, it's got to do with consciousness, just like Project Unity says. Well, yeah, Project Unity is somebody that I said earlier, when I said friends of the channel that have experienced things. Project Unity has experienced something amazing. And when I think about someone like Jay, Project Unity, and I go like, well, if he experienced it and this really happened to him, right? How do I have this experience? How do I get on that level? Is there something wrong with me spiritually that when I meditate or when I try to do it, it doesn't work, right? So it's something that I want to experiment with. Bormer said, do it, Gaucho. Let's see what happens. Okay. That's definitely going to be one of the next videos. I've also, guys, if you watch my channel for a long time, you'll know that normally I do videos. I try to like edit videos and throw music in there and do something cool and cinematic. And I haven't been able to do that. Recently, I've been doing those New Fork videos and the lives, and I've actually missed doing my normal style of videos. So I'm gonna probably use that CE5 journal or whatever, to get a little cinematic, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, when we're looking at the sky and stuff, I won't do anything too cinematic. Daniel Sand said, "How do you feel living now in that tiny sphere called Earth?" That's a good question. How do you guys feel about Earth right now? The madness that was going on today, man. I'm glad we could disconnect from that for a minute. Alien Girl says, consciousness technology. Definitely. She says, looks great. Awesome. Perfect. So I'm going to definitely shoot here more often. Dylan says, try breathing techniques. Breathing is our conscious key to the heart and the brain. Okay, I will do. Have any of you experienced or tried C5 and had an experience? I'd love to hear your experiences, definitely. So we got some more stuff to talk about tonight, though. Not just C5. I want to talk about, seeing as we're talking about skeptics and believers tonight. Did you guys see the new debrief article about the Switzerland case? Now I want to hear your guys' thoughts before I share my thoughts. So I'll give you guys a minute. If you haven't checked it out, I would suggest checking out that article. Of course, the debrief has been doing good work, in my opinion. But I would like to know what you guys think about that. So I'm going to give it a second. I'll check out the live chat again, and then we'll jump back into that. Ethereal Aura said, different people can experience the same event differently. Some also believe everything on UFO YouTube channels. Some say everything is a hoax or try to debunk it. And they are healthy skeptics. And there are healthy skeptics. Oh, yeah. And no one's saying that skepticism is unhealthy. I'm saying that there are unhealthy skeptics and there are unhealthy believers, and you have to find a middle ground. So, of course, you said, I like to be a healthy skeptic and not afraid of contact. Perfect. That's exactly how you should be. That's exactly what I'm saying. William hasn't seen the article yet. Alien Girl says, yes, I have a video on my channel. Awesome, Alien Girl. Make sure to go check out her channel if she has a video about the debrief article. Go check it out. What did you guys think about it? They have been doing good work. Alien Girl says they've been doing good work. My thing was, when I saw the article, right? So I see the article. We saw that it was kind of getting teased on Twitter maybe a day ago, and I was thinking, okay, I can't wait to see what they're gonna come with next. And let me open it up here, and we'll check it out. The experiencer didn't share her real name, and she had a name like Oceani. He says that she only knew UFOs from movies and certainly didn't believe in them. But on November 18, 2015, she had an experience. And she filmed these strange lights over Lausanne. I don't know how to say that. Lausanne, Switzerland, from her balcony. Now, when I checked out the video, I was thinking, okay, awesome, video, footage. Let's check it out. It's kind of dark footage. We've talked about how difficult it is to film footage at night and how difficult it is to, get UFO footage. We've talked about this in the past. And it's dark footage, right? Basically is what I'm trying to say. It's grainy footage. Some people were talking about how it doesn't look that good. And I first thought, honestly, guys, the first thing I thought of was spotlights in the sky. Now, when I lived in Los Angeles, there's a lot of movie theaters. There's movie premieres. You got Hollywood. We had Hollywood right next to my house at one point. And there was times where you'd see spotlight skepticals in the sky, right? And they'd move around, and sometimes they'd unify them, and they'd jump them up and down, and they'd do stuff. And some of them are like automatic. And it just reminded me of that. Wasn't trying to debunk it. Wasn't trying to be a skeptic, right? Was just trying to it was the first thing that popped in my mind, so I started looking into it. And if you haven't seen my tweets from today, what I did was I just searched up the date because I thought maybe it's a light festival. Maybe it's some kind of, so, let me see what's going on with the lights in this town, basically, on this date. I searched it up and I found that on that date, on November 18th, 2015, it was the beginning of a light skeptical, or light, I don't know what it's, light skeptical. Now, instead of festival, I said skeptical. Light festival, of a light festival in this town. And it was basically like, if you look at it, it's really artistic. It's really awesome. And it's not just any normal light show. It's like artistic light pieces all over the town. And the worst part was for me, right? Because I'm thinking, no, man, I really wanted this to not happen. I didn't want to look for this and find this. Is that the day that she had this encounter was the day that it started. And let's say that the light show or whatever started, I don't know, a day after the 18th, like on the 19th. It could still be possible that they were setting up lights, testing lights, using strobe lights. What they do too is they use projectors in these light shows, right? So they project images onto the buildings, different visuals. And if you point those projectors in certain directions and it's foggy enough, or it's cloudy enough, anything can really happen visually in the sky, I think, personally. Her experience was interesting, right? The article was well written. Then there's physical traces of something that hit her shutters. She said that it was making like electronic noises when it was hitting the shutters. But I still felt like the light festival being the same day as this on the same year, right? 2015. I think it happens every year, but I found a video, like a promotional video of the 2015 one, and down in the comments it says of the video, it says starts November 18th until December, I don't know, 31st, right? So I started sort of sharing that, and I wasn't trying to be like a skeptic and say, hey guys, I found that I debunked it, because that's not what I'm trying to do ever. I'm really just sharing what I found and trying to see what you guys think about it. So let me know, did you guys see my tweets today? Do you know what light festival I'm talking about? If not, I'll find the tweet now, and I'll tell you guys exactly what it is, so you guys can see the video and you can see the description of the video of the light festival, which happened the same exact day in the same year in the same town. So let me see. Let's check out the live chat. Ethereal Aura said, I thought the latest article had too little investigation before publication, and the video quality was very low. I honestly am not judging ever anyone for like giving me poor quality video, because I'm telling you guys, it's a lot harder than people think to get a good video. It is. If the conditions aren't right, even your HD camera may not give you the best footage, right? If I take this camera now and I whip it outside, it's dark outside. I can do that because I bought a new lens that allows me to do that. But still, it's not the best low light lens. So you may not even be able to see what's in the sky. And also, the zoom on my lens may not even be able to reach it. I'm saying there's a lot of different aspects that go into play. Mike Knapp said, I'm not on Twitter. So let me find the tweet for Mike at least, and then let's see if I can find the link. Basically what I was sharing today. I felt kind of bad because I felt like some people were really into the article, and I was not trying to like, I wasn't trying to debunk it or anything. I was just investigating it and finding different things, right? That's all I was trying to do. And I felt like people were really inspired by the article and they liked it. And there was a moment where I felt like, oh, maybe I should stop tweeting about it. But I went a little trip down the rabbit hole when I found those the light show, right? It's called Festival Lausanne Lumières 2015 teaser. Let me see if I can like copy the link and put it into the live chat. Maybe I can do that. I've never tried that before, but maybe it'll work. Guys, is there lag? Is the footage looking good? Just making sure, because I would hate for it to be lagging. I'm jumping back and forth too between different windows, and I'm like, I can't see what's going on. When I jump from one window to the other, I can't see what's going on. All right, so it's taking forever to load the video, but let me see if I can copy the link and paste it for you guys into the live chat. All right, I'm back. Is it frozen? What's going on? All right. It looked like it lagged there for a second. Let me see. All right, I'm going to paste the link here. All right, there's the YouTube link. You guys have to copy it. Oh, no, you could click it directly. I didn't know that. So you can click that link directly, and it'll take you to the video, right? And it'll show you the light festival that happened November 18th, 2015, in the same town that the experiencer witnessed these strange lights in the sky. And like I said, when lights reflect off of fog or clouds, sometimes it looks real trippy and real crazy. Let me check out the live chat. Mike, that link is for you, man. That link there. Ethereal Oral says, I know what the festival it was. It was really artsy. Oh, that's cool, Ethereal. Have you been to that festival? Boromer says, sorry, dude, I don't do Twitter. Sounds like a good theory. Nothing wrong with the investigation. Check it out. I put the link there, guys. So jump in that video and just look at it. So that happened literally, if you've seen the debrief article, that happened the same day. Basically, it started the same day that this experiencer saw these strange lights in the sky. And for me, because it reminded me of fog lights, or because it reminded me of spotlights, not fog lights, spotlights in the sky, the first thing I jumped at was like a light festival or a movie premiere or something. And that was what I found. And then I realized that this town has this every year. So it's like a common thing that they have these crazy light shows every year in that town, which also surprised me that the experiencer didn't point that out. You know, like, say I had this experience, I would definitely say, like, by the way, there is a light show that happens the same day that I saw this. So I'm not sure if it was the light show or if it was, you know, something else. That's definitely how I would start it. But maybe she didn't know, but I feel like the whole town would know about the light show. I don't know. But there was physical trace evidence. So she did have, like, some stuff hit her, what's called like a windowsill or window. I forget what it's called because I don't have those here. And I've been speaking Spanish for too long. She has a photo in the article that she took of residue left on her shutter by an alleged unidentified, by the UFO, right? By unidentified aerial phenomenon. Basically, I think when she was seeing the lights, she said there were small lights and like bright dots swirling around the frame. So I'm not sure if she's talking about the frame or her camera. And she said they made soft sounds when they hit the shutter, like the flapping of bird wings. As they did so, they left behind a whitish liquid that looked a little like milk. Now, that one was a rabbit hole that I couldn't figure out. I was looking all over the place for what that could be, and the only thing I could find that might be something similar to that, which physically, I mean, like the way it looks, it's probably not, is star jelly, right? You know, when comets fall, there's like star jelly. So I thought maybe it could be that. Maybe it could be something from, there seemed to be clouds that night, so maybe it was like something that was caught up in the clouds that rained down. There are cases of like gunk and stuff raining down from the sky in different places around the world. Andy Oates said pigeon. It was a pigeon poop. A bunch of pigeons. Blue Shift Radio said the cloud was between hers and the neighbor's house, blocking the view. No way. It's a sky beamer. She's a local resident and would know the festival and would not confuse it. Well, that's the contradicting part there. So what I tried to do was find, if you look at the video, there's actually like a cupola, like the top of a church, right? And she talks about the church in the article. And what I did was I looked at the, sorry, I just got tongue twisted. I've been overlapping and saying the wrong words tonight. Sorry. I looked at the video, and I saw that there was the church. The church is in the video, and there's the top end of the church. So what I did was I tried to find the church. There's only a certain amount of churches in that area, and I thought if I could find the church, I could use Google Maps or Google Street View, get down on the street, try to find where she's looking from her vantage point, and understand what's going on. Now, what I did notice is that the houses are close together, and also the houses are not all on the same level, if that makes sense. They're not all like, it's not flat, that town. It's got like little hills and stuff. It's not like, oh, there's my neighbor's house. It's like, oh, my neighbor's house is down there. And I've actually seen clouds from my apartment, like right off of my 11th floor. Like you can see it right there. It's not common, but it's something that has happened. Now, again, this is not me saying this is exactly what it is. What I would need to do is to go to Switzerland, go to the town, find the church, see the vantage point she's talking about, then try to figure out if anyone else saw this. It's also something else we should consider. If it rained down gunk, did it just hit her windowsill? Did it hit the whole town? Was there multiple witnesses seeing this? You would think that if there was a giant cloud in between your house and your neighbor's house, low to the ground or anything, a lot of people would see it. But who knows? A lot of people don't see a lot of stuff. But you got to get your boots on the ground, man, or else we're always just going to be keyboard ninjas. And it's something that I think we all need to try to do, and we can only do it to our best abilities, right? So if you ever have a case in your town or a case that happens next to you, get your boots on the ground, get out there, go try to see it, try to figure it out. Blue Shift Radio said the church is much further away, I believe. The small orb were flying against the window shutters. So I think the woman is saying she would not confuse it. Not saying she would confuse it and that she's not sane at all, by the way. This is exactly why, guys. Like Blue Shift Radio, I totally get your point, and you are awesome, by the way. So I'm not trying to debunk this case. I'm just giving you where my radar was, where my radar was pinging basically, and what sent me in looking into those directions. And then you got to be honest though. If there's a light show, have you seen the light show that happens in that town? Honestly, it's like a wicked light show, and it's like all different crazy kinds of lights from all different locations. If we could figure out the vantage point she's looking from, right? She might be looking from a balcony down to her neighbor's house, which is not that close, right? Say it's like my neighbor's down the block from my balcony. I'm looking at my neighbor's house, and maybe there was a low-hanging cloud of fog, and it was reflecting some of the light show stuff. But it's interesting, like I said, it's interesting that was not brought up, that light show happened that same day. It started on that same, in 2015. I think that's interesting. If I were the experiencer, I would tell everyone, when I saw this, there was a light show that started that day. And I don't know if this had to do with the light show. I don't think it had to do with the light show. I saw this, that, and then I had this, the physical trace evidence and all that kind of stuff. Blue Shift Radio says the video is too dark and pixelated. I know. It's hard to judge. Definitely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. And the first thing, Blue Shift Radio, the only reason why I made those leaps and I jumped into those rabbit holes was because the first thing it reminded me of was spotlights in the sky, in clouds. And I thought, maybe she's on a balcony and the cloud is kind of leveled with her, right? It's like it looks lower than it would if you were on the street. So we're seeing like the lights reflecting in the cloud. Because if you can tell, here's one thing we got to think about. If you look at the video, right, she's on the balcony and it seems like she's leveled with the top of that church. So she's actually high up. She's not low to the ground. She's like, and she's not leveled like a little bit. She's level to the point of the, there's a little pointy part of the top of the church. I don't know what it's called. That was something that made me think too, like that she's looking from a balcony down at something kind of like a low hanging cloud. And it might not be that the light show was next to her. It might be that the light show was further in the distance and it's lighting up and it's reflecting through the clouds. I don't know. The article's good. Go check it out. That's my 2 cents on it. I think I need to go to Switzerland to figure it out for real. If you guys think that's a good idea, let me know. There we go, Mike. Steeple. Thank you, Mike. I'm telling you guys, I speak Spanish too much. I start losing words. Bormer, that's a good one, man. He said maybe the lights attracted the UFO. Oh, bright lights. It's actually something I was thinking about, which is, it's funny you brought that up. I was thinking, what if, I actually thought the same thing today. I said, what if this light show attracted the UFO and it's not the light show? I don't know. Dylan O says, Occam's razor still. Ethereal aura. I think 2 different things happened. And put together, it would seem very weird, alien. I do think 2 different things happened. And put together would seem very weird and alien. That's what I mean. That's why. But also, we don't know. Like, and I'm one of those people that says everyone's experience matters, and we got to hear their experiences, and we cannot discredit people. We have to try to let them know that they need to tell these stories. They need to share these experiences. She actually didn't even use her real name in the article because she didn't want to be considered a UFO crackpot. And, that's the saddest part for me. Because maybe if we knew who she really was, somebody could contact her and get a little more information. I don't know. So, that's my 2 cents on that. What did you guys think of the Hawaii UFO? Did you guys see that? The blue. It looked like it was a strange one, right? It was, in my opinion, it was a strange one too, because it was not your common UFO. It was like a blue kind of like. It had a weird shape to it. I think it happened in Oahu, right? Did you guys see that? It was on the news. This UFO news doesn't stop. We are getting news back to back to back to back. It's pretty crazy. You gotta keep up with this stuff. Whoa. Thomas Fessler said, I covered the story on my YouTube channel. Awesome, Thomas. Well, Thomas has a YouTube channel, and Alien Girl has a YouTube channel. So go follow them, guys, if you're not. Mike said, yeah, seen that one. It was strange. A few weeks ago, like a week ago, I was trying to find UFO footage or just, something to share with you guys. And I went to the archive webpage, and I started just looking up the word UFO and looking through, or like UFO sightings or something, but it's the archive webpage. It's not YouTube or anything. So I'm trying to find archived footage that I can use or just anything. And I found this, I think it was a Japanese news station, right? But it was in English. It was like CVTV or something like that. It was a Japanese news station in English. And what they were doing was they were interviewing this manga artist. And he had created this manga about the town that he lived in. I can't remember the name of the town right now. But the point of this story is there was a UFO sighting. And what he would do is he would write about different things that happened in the town and draw about it. and there was a UFO sighting. So what he did was he went to visit one of the witnesses, and it was like when flip phones existed, because the witness had a flip phone and he filmed it with a flip phone. But it was like, it happened in like the town square, so everyone saw it, and it stayed up in the sky for like, I think it was like half an hour, something crazy like that. And that was that. And then they went to a bar, and they interviewed the bar owners, and it was like a Japanese bar, and it was an older couple, and they both saw it too, and they said the whole town was mesmerized, and like the people getting off the train were all mesmerized by it. I keep watching, I'm thinking, oh, this is good, right? This is a good case. So I look into it, I can't find anything on it online. I'm thinking, oh, this is weird. So I recorded that section of that CTV, whatever, Japanese news station, that clip, and I keep watching it just because I was interested now in the manga artist. I want to learn more about the town. It goes a little bit deeper into the, into the show or whatever, into the story of the town and everything. And before the end of the broadcast or whatever, or the show or whatever, they see the UFO. The person filming, the crew and the manga artist. He's like, oh, there's the UFO. Look at it. And you see it in the sky. It's got multiple lights. It's just sitting up in the sky. My dog just yawned. And they go down to like the dock or something where, next to some water, because they like follow the direction of this thing they're seeing in the sky. They get there, and I'm thinking, I had just recorded that section of the news broadcast or whatever, because I thought it was interesting that all those people had seen that. So it was multiple witnesses, and so they're following the UFO at this point. They get down to the dock, and it's a guy with a kite. It's a guy with a kite with lights on it, but it's a big kite. And what this guy would do is he would fly these kites at night from that dock. But the whole town had this legend circulating through the town that they had seen a UFO. And I saw the clip earlier, right? Luckily, I watched the whole news art and the whole show, right, all the way through, and I realized that it was this guy with the kite. It was pretty crazy to see that. I thought, like, look how the whole town had this like story about it. Everyone was feeling like they were experiencers, and it was a guy with a kite with lights on it. It was pretty crazy. And when I saw oh, good night, Mike. I was basically going to tell you, I stretched it out, but I was going to say that the Oahu, or the Hawaii UFO that I saw the other day, it was blue, but it had like a weird shape, right? I felt like the way it was shaped and the way it was moving, like maybe it could have been the way it was described it was moving, because I don't think there was any footage of the actual UFO. Correct me if I'm wrong. It could have been one of these kites. I don't know. But if there's one thing we can't ignore, is that December ended, we're in the new year, and the topic is still being discussed. We're still here. We're still searching. And Thomas said like a wet noodle. Basically, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like a wet noodle. But if you think of like a dragon kite, right? A dragon kite with a bunch of lights on it. I saw this, I'm telling you guys, it looked like a UFO on this show. I wish I knew what the name of the news channel was, really. But it was a Japanese, like something random that I found looking through archive footage. Thomas says it was like it was alive. There was 2 UFOs, a blue one and a white one. There was a video from the blue one in Hawaii. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to rewatch it, because I saw the news, right? And I should have followed up on it, because I didn't know there was a video of the blue one. Dylan O said there are allegedly some cryptids that are sky snakes. I've heard of that. even some Native American legends about this. Well, sorry, my dog is like, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's trying to get a bone. I don't know. Unidentified dog over here. But Ethereal Aura said, the first thing I thought was a LED illuminated parachute kite like they use with surfing. That's actually something I thought about as well. But the shape and the way it was moving, I feel like wouldn't be a kite surfing kite because they don't really flail like that. I mean, they flail, but they don't like sway like a snake. That's why that's why I brought up that Japanese show that I saw where it was this guy flying these huge kites with lights on it. And I know that there are kites that are like dragon kites. I don't know. Look, I feel like lately I've been sounding a little bit like a skeptic, but I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. I want everything. I want it all to be real, but I also don't want I don't want us to waste our time on things that aren't real, right? Or that are misidentifications. We need to keep, just because UFOs are real doesn't mean every UFO that gets reported or shared on in the media is real. So, Blue Shift Radio said it did not feature any of the TTSA observables. It dropped into the sea. I guess that's not transmedium travel. I mean, I guess, but we don't know. Maybe it dropped into the sea and it actually started using transmedium travel. Maybe it dropped down and we just didn't know where. I think we don't know where it went. I think the last thing, my dad actually sent me the article again, or the news again about that Hawaii UFO, and I told my dad, I was like, yeah, this one's really unidentified. I don't think we're going to get any further than that unless it comes up again, unless they see it again. You know what I mean? You guys can just hear my dog shaking off, drinking water. Bormer says a lot of fake videos on YouTube, kites and drones being passed off as UFOs. Something really cool happened today. I was talking to my friend, the Signal, and he actually made this video because we were talking about the UFO capture app. I think it's the UFO capture app. I think that's what it's called. It's an app for it's basically an AR app that can create like a UFO sighting for you, right? So if you guys remember the Miami, Florida case that happened where it was like orbs flying over Miami, and there was like multiple videos. There was like 2 videos, and it showed up on the news. They used this app to make that video. And somebody was sharing a video the other day somewhere, and it made me think of this app again. So I wanted to find the app, and I thought it'd be great. It's called UFO Video Camera. Oh. I made it more complicated than it was. It's called UFO Video Camera, and what Signal did, which was very cool, is he downloaded the app and he showed each of the different basically AR filters or whatever that you can use to create a close encounter or to create a sighting, and he shows you all of them. And what we can do with that is if there's ever a sighting that you think may be fake and generated by this app, what you do is you use that video to classify it and just get rid of it quickly. Because look how far people can get with a hoax video, that it shows up on the news and gets spread around the world, you know what I mean? And that's not what we want. So we want real footage. We want real cases. You guys have to understand too, like I used to spend hours and hours of my time, I still do, looking up UFO videos. But there was a point where I was younger and I used to just look up by date, by month, and I would track it and see how many, what I could find. And I don't do that anymore, but I saw so many fakes. All right, guys, the battery's gonna die on the camera, so I'm gonna have to go. But thank you guys for being here. If you guys want to support me in any way, subscribe to the channel if you're not. Just know I do have a Patreon, and anything you guys, any support that you show me there, I'm going to use it to upgrade gear, get lights, try to make this as cinematic as possible. And yeah, thank you guys for being here always. You guys are awesome. We need to continue these discussions. Again, all of you, if we disagree on something, just know that I still respect all of you, and I'm not trying to be a skeptic or a debunker, because that's not who I am at all. So, yeah, guys, you're awesome. Never stop searching for the truth, and just remember that the truth sometimes is much, much stranger than fiction. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. We'll talk soon.